Ready to go to our first call here?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're going to go to Todd, who is in Illinois. Hi, Todd. How are you today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Fine, thank
Well,
you.
not good, but...
Oh, I'm sorry. How may we help you?
My wife has left me for someone else. I don't know how to repair the marriage to get my family back. She brings our kids around him, and it's just like a daily punch in the gut.
A couple of questions, if I may. How old are your children?
15 and 10.
Okay, males, females?
Both girls.
Both girls, okay. And how long have you been married to your wife?
15 years.
Okay. And how long has she been involved with this guy?
I didn't find out about it until June or July, but since May.
Okay, so it's been going for a while. Now, help me, because I didn't catch the first part of that. Is she still living with you, or has she moved out?
No, she moved out.
Okay. Is she living with him?
She was staying with him for a couple months and then got an apartment in the same apartment complex as him.
Okay, but at least not staying in the same place with him. And how are the girls doing emotionally?
My 15-year-old is staying with her. The 10-year-old, I took her to see a counselor. She didn't like it, so we haven't been back. But she sleeps in a corner of my bedroom. And so I'm afraid that she's not doing great, but she doesn't want to talk about it.
Okay, but she refused to go back to see the counselor, but she's not a very happy camper.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't think so.
I'm so sorry for that. And what specifically are you asking us to help you with today, my friend?
I just need the pies thing is great, but it doesn't matter. I can't see her, so I can't demonstrate anything. I can text, but the only thing she responds to is if I say something about the kids.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the fact that you say that not seeing her affects the pies. Kimberly, can you address that for a minute, that how the pies actually can work even if you're having no access to the other person?
You know, this is something that I'm beginning to say all of the time now, which is we don't do the pies. It's not a get your spouse back quick scheme. That's not what the pies is. And I fear that's what people hear and latch on to because they're looking for something. Todd is looking for something. There's hundreds, thousands of other people who are looking for that thing that's going to bring their marriage back together. But when we start thinking about the pies as a quick scheme, so to say, I can't think of a better way to say it, to get our spouse back, and if we're only doing it because we want to show them when they're around that we're changing or we're doing this or we're doing that, if that's our purpose and our intention for it, it's not going to work. And here's why. Because and that was me, when I first, back when me and my husband were going through our difficult times in our marriage several years ago, to be honest, when I first started working on my pies, the thought that went through my head was, I'm going to work on me so that he'll see it and then he'll be the one to change because he's the one who really needs to change. And here's what happened. No matter what I would do, I was watching him, because if he wasn't responding to me or reacting to me or saying things to me that I wanted him to say, then I thought, well, it's not working. And so what then did I do from that? Either I would go back into my depression, my anxiety, because it doesn't matter, I'm not worth it, nothing that I'm doing is working, or I would try and do the things that I felt like he would like for me to do. And it turned into, it wasn't a good thing to do. It wasn't until I focused on me as an individual. What can I do to become the best that I can be, physically, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, even if my husband doesn't see it happening? Because I have to do it for me.
That's right.
Regardless. And it would just stifle my growth as a person, my future, whatever that might hold, if I said, well, if he's not around to see it, then I'm just not going to do it.
Because it's all about you becoming the best you
Exactly.
that you could be, and your best, and your situation of life in which you're in.
Exactly.
And you say, well, how in the world is he going to help my marriage? First of all, as you said, it affects you. And anything that affects you will affect the potentiality of that relationship, whether you're aware of it or not. And then there's another side issue to that. If indeed it becomes who you are, you're really doing it for you, then the people that know the two of you what we hope happens then is that if they, when they're having conversations, in this case with your wife, would be, wow, he has become the best him. Todd has become a better person than he was even in all these amazing ways. Because you're taking care of yourself physically, you're taking care of yourself intellectually, which means you can still think and function and don't get locked into this. And emotionally, you do those things that evoke emotions within other people they enjoy feeling, no matter who they are around you. And that spiritually, you live up to your beliefs and values. And so we do hope it has an effect on the other person as the word spreads. Don't tell your friends to tell her that. That always backfires. But it's about you becoming the best person that you can be and letting that spread out there in natural ways. And so it's not a magic wand. It's not a magic wand, but it's something you do. And that part about if indeed you do have conversations with your spouse, and right now you say she only responds to your text if you talk about the kids. Well, there's a thing called Smart Contact, and if you're not familiar with that, please go to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Marriage Helper, all one word, and start watching the videos about Smart Contact. Because Smart Contact says you contact the other person in ways to which they will respond in a good way, and not doing things where they respond in a negative or bad way. Now, these are not, as we've already said, magic wands. They're not like these are the magic pills or the magic seeds you buy and you plant, and here goes the vine that leads to the golden goose. It doesn't work like that. It's something that you work at, that you keep doing. I'm so sorry for your daughter's pain. My heart breaks for them. But, even I ask you about the time frame, and I know it seems to you like this has been forever. In the scheme of things, it hasn't really been that long. Now, don't hear that as me saying it doesn't matter. Don't hear me as that saying you shouldn't hurt. You should. And it's long enough that it's extremely painful for you. So I'm not trying to put that down. But in that letter that Kimberly read as we began the program, that woman's been in this 18 months. Now, I'm not trying to take your hope away. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I am trying to create a realistic picture. When it comes to emotions, sometimes things happen rapidly and sometimes take a little while. And what makes the difference is whether or not you can last longer doing the things you need to do. Because ultimately, even if the marriage were to fail, God forbid, ultimately, you still want it being the best you can be, which makes things better for your future. But having that ability to stay in there, you learn, you grow, things change, and we truly hope that for you. Okay.
Joe, before we move on, I also want to remind our listeners, we were talking about Smart Contact, and we have what we call the Smart Contact Toolkit, because there's a lot of questions that people have even when they watch the videos we have on YouTube about, well, what about this part of it or that part of it, or how do I actually implement all of these aspects of it? And we did a toolkit, which is amazing. I'm just going to say it. It's
Not
really
just because
good.
the two of us did it.
It was so good. But other people have said that as well. You can ask if you're in any of our Facebook groups. Ask, and you'll get their feedback. Trust them. But it goes through exactly what Smart Contact is, what it is not, and then it breaks down each area of Smart Contact, because the SMART all stand for something, and it guides you through that process, and it answers the most frequently asked questions that we get in regards to Smart Contact, and you can get all of that for just $27. It's really fantastic. You will get so much wisdom and information from that. And you can find it on our website at marriagehelper.com and type in Smart Contact Toolkit in the search bar, and you'll be able to get it from there. But I think it would, for anyone listening who's in that boat where they're trying to figure out, especially if they've been seeing the things online on YouTube about no contact, which is everywhere.
Except from us.
And
We don't put it out there.
destroying people's chances in their relationship. So
Yeah, if you see those videos on no contact, ignore those people, please. And I'll pray for Smart Contact. And one of the things about that video series we did there, Kimberly, we deal with so many of these things that sometimes when people ask us a question, we just deal with the aspects of that specific question, and we don't get to all the nuances and all the details because they're not asking about that. Whereas we sat down with this one and for, I don't know how many sessions it is, but it totals like, an hour and a half, something like that, of us being into detail about this and then this and then this and this, which we normally don't get to do.
right.
Okay.
It's good.